Have you ever wondered what the world was like before the year 010101? A time when there were no calendars, no clocks, and no dates. How did people measure time back then? How did they know when to sow their crops or when to harvest them? In human history, there was a period when the Earth had no years, no months, and no numbered days. Yet people still understood which days were auspicious and which were ominous. Have you ever asked yourself why a year has 365 days, or why there are 12 months? The answer lies deep within science and the wisdom of ancient civilizations. Imagine waking up in a world without Mondays, without New Year's Day, without birthdays or anniversaries. How would you plan your journeys? When would you celebrate festivals? And yet, when you looked around, you would see that people were still living, planting, celebrating, and even predicting the future. The question is, without January 1st, without 01 AD, how did humans keep track of time? They didn't have digital clocks, but they still knew when to celebrate their rituals. Did they speak with the stars, or was there some hidden knowledge now lost to us? Some believe our ancestors had a wisdom that we no longer understand. Maybe we can rediscover it. Because in truth, it is not we who measure time, but time that measures us. Humanity tried to capture it with calendars, but time existed long before. Its language was written in the sky, in the waxing and waning of the moon, in the rising and setting of the sun, and in the slow shift of the stars. These cosmic changes became the first signs of time, and humans sought ways to capture it. That was the beginning of the first time machines, what we now call clocks. They weren't made of metal, but of stone. Ancient civilizations placed huge stones in carefully calculated positions so that the sun's shadow would fall on them in precise patterns. On certain days of the year, the shadows aligned perfectly, marking seasonal changes. Britain's Stonehenge is perhaps the most famous of these ancient calendars. On June 21st, the sun rises exactly between the stones. On December 21st, it sets in perfect alignment. Modern studies suggest that Stonehenge might represent a 365-day solar year, just like today's calendar. But this wasn't unique to Europe. In India, too, temples were not only places of worship, but also centers of astronomical science. The Konark Sun Temple in Odisha, shaped like the chariot of the sun god, is a perfect example. Its 12 wheels represent the 12 months of the year, and each wheel's spokes divide the day into 8 parts. The sun's shadow on these wheels could measure the time of day with remarkable accuracy. This wasn't just art, it was science, a kind of time engineering, thousands of years before modern clocks. Ancient people also watched the moon. Its 29-day cycle from new moon to full moon became the world's first calendar, the lunar calendar. In India, this became the basis of the Pancham, where festivals, rituals, and marriages were aligned with lunar phases. Meanwhile, the sun's 365-day cycle inspired solar calendars in Egypt and Rome. India went a step further, combining both into the lunisolar calendar, balancing lunar months with solar years by adding an extra month every few years, much like today's leap year. For Indian sages, time wasn't just a line but a cycle, life, death, and rebirth moving in endless rhythm. Texts like the Vedanga Jyotisha described celestial motions with astonishing precision, centuries before modern astronomy confirmed them. To them, time was energy, not just numbers on a clock. In the West, Julius Caesar reformed the chaotic Roman calendar in 46 BCE, introducing the Julian calendar with 365 days and a leap year every 4 years. Later, when errors accumulated, Pope Gregory XIII corrected it in 1582, giving us the Gregorian calendar we still use today. That's why October 4th, 1582, was immediately followed by October 15th. A year has 365 days because Earth completes one revolution around the sun in that time, while rotating 365 times on its axis. The moon takes about 29 days to orbit Earth, giving us months. But because Earth takes slightly more than 365 days, 365.25 to be exact, we add an extra day every 4 years as a leap year. Similarly, in the Hindu calendar, a whole extra month is added every 2.5 to 3 years to synchronize lunar months with solar. Thousands of years ago, without any modern technology, our ancestors observed these patterns and created systems so accurate that we still rely on them today. For them, time was not just a mechanical tick-tock, but the heartbeat of the cosmos. Today, we celebrate New Year on January 1st with fireworks, but that date was simply chosen by rulers long ago. Time itself never began and will never end. Its true language still lives in the stars, in the moon's phases, in the warmth of the sun, and in the rhythm of our own heartbeats. The story of time didn't start with January 1st, 01 AD. It had been flowing long before, and it still flows now. The question is, are you really feeling it, or just following the numbers on someone else's clock? Time has always been more than numbers. When humanity first looked at the stars, we weren't just measuring days, we were searching for meaning. Our ancestors saw the sky as a book, each constellation a chapter, each eclipse a warning, each season a lesson. To them, time wasn't just about survival, it was about destiny. In Mesopotamia, priests studied the heavens from ziggurats, recording the movements of planets. They believed that what happened in the skies reflected events on Earth. A solar eclipse wasn't just an astronomical event. It was a sign that empires might fall or rulers might rise. In Egypt, time was tied to the flooding of the Nile. When the star Sirius rose in the early dawn, it foretold the river's flood, marking the beginning of their new year. Time meant life itself. But beyond measuring harvests and rituals, ancient people began to ask deeper questions. If time moves in cycles, the moon waxing and waning, the seasons returning again and again, does human life also move in cycles? Could birth, death, and rebirth be part of a greater cosmic rhythm? In India, sages spoke of yugas, vast ages of time spanning thousands of years, each with its own balance of light and darkness. They believed we live not in a straight line, but in an endless wheel, where civilizations rise, fall, and rise again. This was not superstition, but a vision of time as infinite energy. And even now, if you step outside on a quiet night and gaze upward, you might feel what they felt, the pulse of something eternal. Every star overhead is a reminder that time doesn't belong to us. We belong to it. Calendars and clocks are only cages we built to hold it, but the real time still breathes in the shifting constellations, in the pull of the tides, in the cycle of seasons, and in the beating of your heart. The ancients knew this secret. Time is not just what passes, it is what connects us to the universe itself. So the next time you flip a calendar page or watch a clock's ticking hands, remember, you are following a system invented by men, but the true rhythm of time is older, deeper, and alive all around you, waiting for you to feel it again. But here's the question that has haunted thinkers for ages. If time is infinite, where did it begin? And if it never began, does it ever truly end? Ancient civilizations wrestled with this mystery. For the Mayans, time was not a line, but an intricate cycle of calendars within calendars. Their famous long count calendar didn't just mark days or years, it stretched across thousands of years, mapping entire eras of creation and destruction. For them, history wasn't moving forward. It was repeating. Philosophy described Kala, the eternal time. If you look closer, you'll see all these civilizations were reaching toward the same truth. Time is bigger than us. It shapes not only our days, but our entire existence. The shadow of a stone, the rising of a star, the flooding of a river, the beating of a drum, all were different ways of listening to the same cosmic heartbeat. Today, with atomic clocks and satellites, we pride ourselves on precision. We say we can measure time down to a billionth of a second. But ask yourself, has our understanding really deepened? Or have we only made the prison of minutes and hours tighter? Because beyond our calendars and clocks, there is still the ancient time, the time of cycles and stars, of birth and decay, of silence and return, a time that whispers the same story to every generation. Civilizations rise, civilizations fall, but time flows on. And maybe that's the greatest secret our ancestors left us. That time is not just what you count, it is what you live. It is not only outside in the heavens, it is inside, in your breath, in your heartbeat, in the rhythm of your life. So when you next look up at the night sky, remember, you are looking at the same constellations your ancestors once followed, the same moon that guided their harvests, the same sun that touched their temples. You are connected to them, not by blood, not by land, but by time itself. Time is the one inheritance we all share, and perhaps the one mystery we may never solve.